Yes, I just published our Games Room tour for 2023, and yes, I have changed things in this Games Room again. Firstly, I'd want to say a huge thank you to the almost 2,000 people who tuned into that Games Room tour video, who liked, commented, or subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much, it's really humbling. So why am I changing things again? Well, I have a problem, like a lot of people I think, where I'm never truly happy with the things that I create. But secondly, and more practically, I am not comfortable in the retro gaming area of this room. It feels very cramped and I really want to play more retro games, and to do so, I need to make that area more practical and more comfortable. And I've also just added another TV. So what is the goal of this video? I love seeing the community's Games Room tour videos, but I've always been interested in the processes that get from making changes to the finished product. So I thought, why shouldn't I do that? I'm making a change to this Games Room. I want to show you the process involved from start to finish, the problems that arise during that process, some tips that hopefully you, the gamer, can adapt to your Games Room, and hopefully provide some inspiration, and also so that you all can join on this journey with me. So without further ado, let's jump in, let's change this retro gaming area, and stay to the end. I think you'll be absolutely impressed with how it turns out. Let's start. Well, like anything, everything that turns out well comes with good planning. But I really didn't have one. I went in with like a general idea about what I wanted to do, what I wanted to create, but I was open to an evolving kind of idea about how that would be executed, which I'm really glad I did, because the first thing I was planning on doing is actually selling my 16:9 PVM. The reason being, I don't game retro really in 16:9, it's all 4:3, and I hate the black bars that PVM created on the side. However, after rethinking that, I came up with a great idea to utilize that TV by stacking them, which allows me to create more short form content with these two TVs stacked, like Reels, Shorts, TikToks, whatever you call them. And I'm really happy that I stuck to that idea now, because it looks absolutely fantastic. Another very important step that I came across that was frustrating as anything for me was actually the cable management. Now, cable management, when you have a lot of consoles, like anyone will know, it is a hassle. When you take everything out and you have to rejigger everything, get everything back in, it does create a little bit of a problem. This solution, when we're talking about cable management, is such a great thing that I only found about recently. Those of you Sega gamers and collectors, you know how much of a pain in the ass it is to have your tower of power, your 3 consoles, or 2 if it's just the Mega CD or with the Genesis or Sega Mega Drive, that you need 1 power brick per component of that tower. However, recently somebody introduced me to a very simple and great solution to reduce those 3 power supplies to only 1 and still be able to use all 3 of those attachments at the same time. You can see this solution is super convenient, reducing the need of 3 cables to 1, and so far it's been working seamlessly. I will link where I got that product in the description below for those of you who are interested in that as well. But once I got into that and I started to think about where the cables were going in reference to where the consoles were actually going to go in the Besta unit, I came up with another problem. Calculating console space in this unit, what can fit where, and I am 1 console short. The problem being, I had 1 too many consoles, primarily because the Master System Model 1 is so long that you can only fit the Dreamcast next to it. No other console will fit next to it. So I came up with a solution that I think kind of worked. As you all know, the PS2 is backwards compatible, meaning that I don't actually need that PlayStation 1 there in order to play any PS1 games. I can just plug them in the PlayStation 2 and away I go. And honestly, I don't even have any PlayStation 1 games. Hate at me in the comments below, but PlayStation 1, not for me. Am I missing out? Now we know how we're going to configure our consoles and how we're going to allocate the power cables. It's time to deal with the AV solution. Now, I've got SCART and I've got composite. The SCART situation that I've got is absolutely fantastic. However, as you can see, the composite is just these cheap eBay ones and it doesn't work great. So I thought it was time to take a small trip to our local store where I could get a composite switcher / splitter that will better utilize those consoles to the setup that I have. This solution allows me to input 8 consoles and output to 2 separate CRTs, which is more than I needed, and I was actually left with 1 extra space. Now that that is set up, setting up the SCART was super easy. However, this is where we came across a problem. If you are having a problem with the console, never assume it's the console itself. I was ready to tear everything apart because on the CRT, the Orion one, it was outputting a yellow tinged screen. It wasn't doing it on the PVM, just that one screen, which led me to think potentially it was a cable. Simply by adjusting the SCART cable that was going into the actual TV and the SCART matrix switcher, I found out that it was not in properly, meaning that that was creating that discolored picture. If you have a problem with your console, try a different cable, try a different power supply, one by one, eliminate the issue. I'd say 80% of the time it's not the console, it's the cables. Before we move on from cables, here is another little tip for those people who have a lot of cables and a lot of consoles. Now you can go on Amazon and buy like naming tags for putting on cables and things like that, but there's a free way to do it. I use, and this is what I use your bread clips. Just take it off the bread packaging and you can write what console it is on the little tag, on the little clip, and then place that on the cable. Free, easy, accessible. That has saved me so much time and energy when trying to remove cables. You guys have no idea. Highly recommend it. Once we dealt with the functionality, I think that's the word, functionality, of the area, it's time to deal with the aesthetic. Now, a lot of gamers, like me, love their RGB. It really allows an area to pop, and this area is no different. I really wanted a great RGB solution, and instead of utilizing light strips, which yes are great, I decided instead to use a cheap $19 RGB pole / light / corner thing, whatever, from Kmart that worked even better. I really love the strobe effect it creates. It's solid and I don't have to worry about it sagging. I highly recommend, instead of looking at light strips, have a look at other solid options for areas where you may see sagging, like the shelf you see behind me. To stick it to that lac IKEA shelf above, I just use these 3M Velcro style, I guess, attachments and stuck it up there. It's also removable as well, which is great. The last thing to do is curating the display shelf that is located next to the retro area. Now, this is one area that I really love and I put a lot of care and detail into because it displays some of my favorite items in the collection. Before, I only had half of the real estate to use because there was a Besta unit in front of it. Now I've got roof to floor and I think it turned out great. And this is how it turned out. All right, and here we have it. I'm extremely happy with how this turned out. It is such a better space than what it was before. Way less cramped. Let's have a closer look. This is what I see from my sitting position. Now, yes, I'm still looking at these two here, but I can quite easily move the couch along in order to play consoles on that TV, which in all honesty is probably where I would mainly play them. We've got all our consoles connected up as discussed there. And then we've also got our consoles sitting on top. So we've got three. We've got the Super Nintendo, the Tower of Power, Genesis, and then my Mega Drive and Mega CD. On top is what I'm most proud of and what I love the most is finally being able to display these blue spine video games from the Mega Drive era. Blue spines are my favorite. I honestly wish all Mega Drive games were blue spine. There's obviously some fairly rare ones up here, as you guys can see. It's not so much about the rarity of it, it's just I love the blue spines. We've got OG Sonic there. We've got this light that I talked about earlier. This is a Kmart basically light bar that you can do many modes, but I just love how this is up here instead of using light strips. And oh, Street Sharks. Yeah! And then in here, as discussed, our AV solutions, our VCR, and this is a Raspberry Pi that's actually connected up to this TV and this one if needed. That's playing retro ads and retro trailers from video games and movies from the 80s and 90s, hence why we have the Street Sharks on the TV. I mean, just listen. Oh yeah. How can you not love the Street Sharks line from the 90s? Man, I really want to add more of them to my collection. And then it just will cycle through, and then next... How's that?
As you play Super Mario 64, submerged in a 3D environment with 15 worlds of beautiful...
I may do a playthrough of some of these ads more in another video, talking about some of these, but I'm just going to mute it for now so that we can continue on. And this is the wall of Sega. I did a lot of moving around here, so pretty much all Sega has been moved to this side here and also over here. So whereas Xbox now has been put in that corner. So just some fantastic games that I absolutely love. This being probably the rarest piece. This is the Lucky Dime Capers limited edition box set. And it came, this is actually factory sealed. So this is a brand new set. The box has seen better days, unfortunately. So yeah, so this is the new retro gaming area. What do you guys think? There's one more thing to show you. What did I do with the Besta unit that was right here? Swivel! Excuse the mess, shooting some other videos. This is where we now have all our audio. We have our vinyl record player, we have a CD player, we have a receiver amp, and we have a tape player, all connected up in here. There's a power board back there. It's on wheels, so I can use it, move it, connect it up to the roof, and I just disconnect from here, and then I can move it if I want to shoot a video. Looks so much better. It took me 4 days to get to this stage. I kept starting, rethinking, reevaluating, which is how I work. I take a long time to do things, but I'm happy with how it turns out until I'm not, and then I change things again. That happens all the time as well. What do you guys think of the area? Do you like how it looks? Do you think I should make further changes? Are there any tips that you think were helpful to you, or tips that you may have to other collectors or gamers? Put in the comments so I can pin that comment so other people can read some ideas, some tips that they can utilize in their games room. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's a little bit different. It's not how I planned this video to turn out, but I think that's how best to show what I've done, why I did it, and share it with you all, because that is my goal, is to let you guys into this area, let you in to me as a gamer, and as well with back, so that you can see who we are, what we love, and how we do things. Guys, you don't have to subscribe, but if you like this video and think other people will like it too, hitting that like button would be fantastic. And as discussed before, if you have tips for other gamers or something that you've seen that you like, that you want to know more about, head on over to that comment section. I answer every comment, and I'll be pinning some fantastic tips for the community. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching and happy gaming.